Have you ever told someone something that was true, only for them to accuse you of lying? Maybe you even offered proof, but they just didn't believe you. The cat liked to scare the rabbit who lived in the house too. So he would often yell, "Beware, rabbit, beware. There is a terrible monster in that room, and if you go near him, he will eat you up." He had successfully scared the rabbit again, and that was all that mattered. But as the darkness around him grew, he started to feel a sense of unease. What if the rabbit had been right? Sometimes the biggest monsters are the ones we create in our own minds. He had been the one to question the truth, and now he had to face the consequences. But as he looked up, he saw a glimmer of hope in the eyes of the rabbit and the raccoon. They were willing to help him, to guide him back to the truth. But if you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more content. Sharing this with your friends is a great way to spend time together. But sharing things you learn with people who may benefit from it is an investment in your own growth and wisdom. So like this video if you learned something valuable. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. It wouldn't be easy, but with their help, the cat knew that he could overcome his fear and finally see the truth. We let fear and uncertainty take hold of us and convince ourselves that they are real. But the truth is always simpler than our fears. It doesn't mind being questioned, a lie does. What if there really was no monster in the room? Suddenly the cat started to doubt himself. Was he just making up the stories about the monster? But it also reminds us that we should never lose hope. Even when we feel like we're surrounded by darkness, there's always light to be found. We just need to look for it. Had he been lying to himself as well as to the rabbit? Don't let fear and lies control you. Be brave and seek the truth, and you will always find your way back home. Sweet dreams, my little owls. May your dreams be filled with bravery and the pursuit of truth. As these thoughts raced through his mind, the cat began to panic. He tried to convince himself that he wasn't lying, but the doubt was already planted and it was growing like a weed. Just then, the door to the room creaked open, and a raccoon peeked inside. "Hello?" he said softly. "Is everything okay?" The cat jumped and let out a yowl. "Raccoon, what are you doing here?" he exclaimed. I was just looking for a place to sleep," the raccoon replied innocently. But there's a monster in here," the cat stammered, trying to come up with a good excuse to chase the raccoon away. "A monster?" the raccoon asked, his eyes widening in surprise. "Yes, a big, scary monster," the cat lied, hoping that the raccoon would believe him, but the raccoon just laughed. "Don't be silly, cat. There's no monster here. I've been walking through this house for years and I've never seen a monster," he said, walking further into the room. "Besides, even if there was a monster, I wouldn't be afraid of him." The raccoon continued confidently. "Me neither," a small voice said from behind the cat. The cat jumped again and turned to see the rabbit standing behind him, a sly grin on his face. You weren't scared of the monster," the cat stammered. "Not at all," the rabbit replied, shaking his head. "In fact, I think I'd like to move in. It's so peaceful here." And with that, the rabbit settled down on a rug in the corner of the room. Rabbit would always listen intently, nodding his head slowly. He realized that he had been lying to himself as well as to others, and now his lies had caught up with him. He had created a monster in his own mind and had convinced himself that it was real, but in reality, there was no monster at all. It was just a room filled with light and laughter and friendship. The cat felt a tear rolling down his cheek. He had lost the respect of the rabbit, and now he didn't even know if he could trust his own mind. "Oh yes, I must be careful," he would say in a shaky voice. But one day the rabbit got fed up with the cat's constant lies. "You're such a bad liar," he scoffed. "I know there isn't any monster in that room." The cat looked hurt. "How can you say that? I'm telling you the truth." "Well, if you're telling the truth, then why don't you show me?" the rabbit challenged. The cat hesitated, unsure what to do. He wanted to keep scaring the rabbit, but showing the rabbit the empty room would ruin his fun. I can't show you right now," he stammered. "Why not?" the rabbit asked suspiciously. "Because, the monster's asleep and I don't want to wake him up," the cat replied. "Oh really? Well then let's wait until he wakes up," said the rabbit, sitting down comfortably. And so they waited. This is an example of gaslighting, a tactic commonly used by abusers to make their victims question their own sanity. But today we'll take a look at this psychological phenomenon through the lens of a children's story. So grab your crayons, kids, because it's story time. Once upon a time, there was a cat who lived in a big house with many rooms. After a while, the rabbit started to feel bored and annoyed. He had heard the cat's stories about the monster for weeks now, and he was tired of being kept in suspense. "Are you sure the monster isn't just hiding in the shadows?" he asked sarcastically. No, he's definitely asleep," the cat insisted. "Okay, well, how long do we have to wait?" the rabbit sighed. "Just a few more minutes," the cat lied. But after a few more minutes, the rabbit started getting impatient. "This is ridiculous," he exclaimed. "There is no monster here. You've been lying to me all this time." And with that, the rabbit turned and walked away, leaving the cat alone in the dark. As the rabbit walked away, the cat felt a sense of relief. As the cat watched the rabbit and the raccoon talking and laughing together, he couldn't help but feel a sense of shame. So children, the next time you hear a lie, ask yourself this: does the truth mind being questioned? A lie does. The cat looked at the floor, ashamed. Now, children, This story teaches us that we should always be careful of those who try to deceive us with lies. And now it's time for bed, little ones. As you drift off to sleep, remember the words of this story. If this story spoke to you, then you probably love psychological thrillers and suspense. If not, that's alright too. There are plenty of other genres to choose from.